Hello, so I'm going to implement some new tool and I would like to record and share about it. So the idea of today is implement a tool that would inline some Ruby code. So let's say that I have a method, or I can have like A equal 1, and then I have B equal A plus 1. And if I get this line, I could say that this is 1 plus 1, and I can remove this line. So what I would like to implement is this, and maybe in the future build something like def A, and then I can have like sum A and B, for example, and then this do like A plus B, and then here I have something like using some this, and if I refactor this call and I get this inline, in the end of everything here, I will just have 1 plus 1 and the method will disappear. So that's what I would like to build, and this is just a few examples, so we can probably use them as our test. And for example, let's say this is a very good one, and we can also use this. So the idea is we build a tool. So I am developing Fast, that is a tool to manipulate abstract syntax tree, and this tool have a lot of very good things that we can manipulate, how we receive, understand, and it's just like an embedded way, like regex, that we can use strings to generate expressions and capture and check specific values inside some abstract syntax tree or any code. So that is the idea. So for example, in this case, we need to start first understanding this code, and then we need to understand this code. So this is two things that we can start taking a look. So the first one is understand how the AST is represented, and then how it how we can look for multiple nodes, and how can we replace the code. So in this first step, we are going to to only implement some gem and some specs that covers this, and then when we go into exactly the first test failing, and we can use TDD, BDD. I can show a few more details about abstract syntax tree and how it works and how this representation works. So let's start. So I am on Fast here, so I will just take the folder out and I will put this in full screen to use better the screen here. So I like to use bundle gem. So let's say Fast inline. So that's what we are going to do. And so Fast inline. Oops. Inline, and here we will need to just make this to-do list disappear, because we will not be able to do a bundle install here. So let's put it. So it will inline expressions for refactoring purpose. Let's delete the full description. We don't need the home page for now. And this is also only if we respond to metadata. We are not going to publish it now, so I can just remove. And here we have some development dependencies. So we will also need to add fast here. So as fast name was already defined when I started my gem, I couldn't pick this name, so the gem name is with 2 F's. Okay, so let's try to first bundle install. Okay, we are in version 0.0.6, and if we go to bin/console, for example, we can see here that I prefer to use Bri, so let's just add Bri. We will have Bri as a fast dependency, so let's see if we can just switch to Bri here, because we have it. Yes. So it's much more beautiful and easy to use. Okay, so now we are on Bri, and let's see if fast is already required. Yes, this is fast, and here, for example, we can get AST from the first code from file, and then we can pass some file. For example, bin/console is the file that we edit, like some. Oh no, I am wrong, because fast inline is the module that we defined inside this, and I need to require fast here. Let me see how it goes. Yes, now we have it. So this is what it have. Like, this is a simple AST representation, and we can also use the binding Bri to understand how this method is implemented. So we can probably see here that we have some method named AST. So this method is receiving a stream, and our first challenge will be something like let's use a equal 1, and then we will have b equal a plus 1. So this is the code that we are going to build, and basically we have like 2 local variable assignments in sequence, and then we have some extra values. So here you can see, for example, we catch the identifier, and here you can see that we catch the second identifier, and here you can see that we are using the identifier to understand to reference the previous value. So what we need to do is inject this tuple exactly in this tuple. So we are going to replace this with this one, but it's not exactly in the tuple level, but we need to approach to rewrite the file. So the first challenge we need to do is create a search to understand it. So for example, let's say we have this AST here. Let's continue prototyping until we have something to do. And yeah, I guess we can start writing tests, because it will be easier to follow this, and then we can keep running, but we can do it a bit later. It will also not be really a problem, because we can introduce more about the library. So what we need to do here is just start searching from it. So I will be doing a search, and the search receives some AST, and we can say something. So let me just Remove this part. Oh, shit. I lost my... Okay, so search, and then here I will get some search. So LVASGN, for example. So we have the two results here, and the first is the first definition, and the second is a bit more complex. So we can understand like what are complex and what are very simple objects very easily here. So for example, integers, we have floats, we have but for example, send is just reusing something. So we need to find both cases. So first case that we need to find is this one, that is the A, and the second one is some complex cases that are using send. So that's what we need to do. So let's build both searches here. So first we are looking for some local variable assignment of some element, and then I will have some another element that will have two positions only, and then if I search for it, oh no, so I will need to create a method to solve this. So I can say local variable assignment of simple value. So that's what we wanted to build. So here I have one value, and so we can start debugging it easily here. So for example, let's build a method. So we can just use, for example, a method to check the simple value. So let's say simple, only simple, and you will see that we don't have the method simple. So we need to define a method simple, and this method will receive basically a node. So this node, I will put binding pry here because I like to have fun, and then we can reuse here. So now we are inside the node. So the node here is an integer. So I can get children, for example, and my children size is 1. So this is the most simplest node we could have. So I can just use this as my method definition. So I can say that node children size equal 1, and this is what we say simple node. So with this search now we will get only simple nodes. Oops, for some reason we lose the bind of the AST because I am inside the pry of the previous one. So we need to exit here once, and then now we can search. So we got it from the AST. So the AST is complex, but we just get the first result because we are building this simple, and we can get this method from there. So next step is understand what's not simple. So it will be involving method calls. So for example, from this one, we could even use like a capture here and capture the value. So for example, if I use the capture, it will just bring the integer for me. So we can also enhance it on the current code, but probably what we need to do is, for example, capture both things. So oops, so I'm going to capture the name of the variable and also the value. So now I can create some like reference. For example, I know that here the last value here. So if I use here lock, I can get it. So I can say expression, for example, and then I can say source. So this returns the value. So this is what we are going to reuse to inject this code inside the other part. So the first thing we solved, and the second thing that we need to solve is picking complex method calls. And probably on these complex method calls, they are going to reference something that we previously defined. So in this case, for example, we are talking about local variable assignment of some name, and then here we have again apart from the name, we will have a send. So here I have a send of something, and oops. So send new something. So let's just capture send. AST. So I am saying local variable assignment B, and then I start to send. All right, so this send have another thing inside that we can also specify. Like what we want to do here is a local variable, local var, and this local var will have a name, or and the rest doesn't matter. For example. Oh yes, sorry, I was using capture here, and capture will not work because we are not introducing any capture. So if we introduce some capture, we can make sense. So for example, we can pick the variable name, and this is exactly what we wanted to replace, for example. So the first thing here is that we need to have this enhanced in somehow, and then we need to combine both algorithms to generate what we want. And the next step now is we need to go deeply into mapping this A with this one. So we have both places and in both cases to work, and they are pretty simple, and they cover what we want. So let's get hands dirty and write some specs, and then write some real implementation and start working the real code.